Let's head to your home state of Indiana, where the Indiana Hoosiers drag Nebraska 56-7 at home. I took Indiana. You took Nebraska. It wasn't even close.
I didn't take Nebraska.
You took Nebraska in our predictions.
No, I didn't.
You took Indiana? Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the tape.
I took Indiana rolling. And I think, no chance.
Okay, I got to go back. Maybe I took Nebraska.
I think you took Indiana also. I think the one we disagreed on was Georgia and Texas. I took Georgia. You took Texas. We were a wash across the board. But don't put words in my mouth about my Indiana Hoosiers.
Well,
I was excited to talk about them on Whip Around, and there's no program I'm more excited to end recruit reaction about than the Indiana Hoosiers. And then they got a huge win, a dominant win. Dominated on both sides of the ball like they have all year. Number 4 offense in the country, number 6 defense in the country. Plug and play at quarterback. Rourke gets hurt. Taven Jackson comes in. The offense is still going up and down the field. They drop over 50 points on Nebraska. Tristan Abram, touted defensive lineman from St. Louis, the jewel of their class, tells me that he is 100% locked in with Indiana. He's going to take an official visit to Michigan. He's already been to Michigan once this year. He said Michigan's definitely got to prove something to him on his next visit because he was blown away again by another visit to Indiana. And so the Hoosiers in a good spot there. I think they're close to flipping Tyrone Burris from Louisville. He's an in-state edge rusher. That his decision was close anyway. I talked to his dad after the game, and he said it really came down to the wire between Louisville and Indiana as it was, and he didn't know about, he knew what this coaching staff had done in previous places, but there was some questions about how it would be in Bloomington in the development process. No more questions. Byron Baldwin, on 300 defensive back, maybe committing soon. Colorado trending, former Indiana commit, played his game Friday night, decked out in Hoosiers gear. Is this a win that helps Indiana regain traction with Byron Baldwin? He said it could.
That would be surprising.
Yeah, it would be surprising to me too. But look, I was with them on Friday. And I don't think anyone was anticipating 56-14 or whatever it was also. Again, I mean, so look, my pick's on Colorado, but Indiana couldn't have had a better day in trying to get Byron Baldwin to come back full circle and go with them.
That's how you do it.
And it was a tone-setting day with some in-state recruits that they've offered, Josh. Casimir Hicks is one of the best two-way players in the state of Indiana. He'll eventually have 30 offers. He already has one from Indiana. Indiana's one of the early favorites. Tayshawn Bardo's a receiver from up near South Bend, Indiana at Mishawaka Penn. He could see himself at Indiana. The number 1 recruit in the state in 2027 is Monshun Sales. He had a fabulous visit today, talked about it being a very great future. And then Davian Chandler is one of the jewels of the class, 4-star recruit in the on 300. He's told me Illinois, Vanderbilt were some schools still coming after him, but he is locked in with Indiana, playing all his games in Hoosier gear as well. Julian Lewis was not there today, but again, saw a plug-and-play offense, saw one of the more prolific offenses in the country. Nobody has shown that they could stop it. Nebraska came in with a top 10 scoring defense nationally and gave up over 50 points. And so, look, they'll try and get Julian Lewis to the Michigan game. He was not able to come to this ball game. That was kind of a pop-up thought anyway. Hey, come to the Nebraska game. Michigan's kind of always been on the radar as they try and flip him from USC and try and beat Colorado as well. Hearing he could be at Colorado next weekend for the Cincinnati game. So we'll see if he makes it back out to Boulder. But conversations remain regular with Indiana and Julian Lewis. No relationship better than the one he has with Tino Sinceri. And again, he sees an offense he could be successful in. Josh, I think you and I could throw for 200 yards in that offense the way it is schemed up on Saturday. It is clicking at a high rate, and so is the Recruit Reaction Show. So glad to finish episode 8 with you guys. Hayes, bring it. Hayes, anyone talking about Indiana to you behind the scenes yet? What would it take for you to make an IU edit? Like,
hey, I'll tell you what,
how
Steve,
does a school like that rise up in your social media? Because I feel like they get good social media buzz. What's your take on the Hoosiers and maybe a Hayes Fawcett edit down the road?
I'll tell you what, last cycle I definitely made one for Tyler Cherry. I believe he was on 3's number 6 quarterback in the 2024 class. But yeah, I mean, if anybody from Indiana hits me up, I'll do it for sure.
Hey, Steve, I got a question. This is maybe getting a little ahead of myself here, but if Indiana continues to roll, could we start hearing Kurt Signetti's name come up for jobs? And could that be an issue for Indiana on the recruiting trail? Their success.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think he obviously is the hottest name in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Look, like if you talk about Florida, Signetti, his offense and his defense are playing in a way, in a style that Florida would love to be playing. You also got James Franklin, who has Penn State in the top 10 every year. And then I'll throw out a name that would be fun for Florida too, is Fran Brown, Syracuse coach. You put him in the corner office at Florida, I see #1 recruiting classes in the country. Now, Fran's still proving himself, but he's doing a great job right out the gate at Syracuse, as they are one of the early contenders in the ACC. But all I know is that I'm 42 years old. I live in the Indianapolis area. This was the first home game that Indiana has played as a ranked school since the early 1990s. So it is a new era. We have them in the playoff right now, right? I mean,
I would
11-1
assume so. I haven't seen the latest playoff projections.
Well, they're now favored over, they're going to be favored over Michigan. So now the only game that they will not be favored in, that they play the rest of the way, is Ohio State.
Right.
So 11-1
should get you there.
Does that get them in the playoff? If they beat everybody and just lose to Ohio State and maybe a close ball game, are they in the playoff? The Indiana Hoosiers, baby. One of the recruits told me they're a football school now.
I love it.